Hello, my beautiful Virgos, and welcome to your Scorpio season. It is Blair at the Oracle of Atlantis. So we're going to take a look at what is still haunting you at this time, what you have control over, what you have yet to acknowledge, your rebirth, your future fortune, and your animal spirit guide. So I hope you're doing well out there. Let's get into your reading. From the Moon Oracle, we have the balsamic waning water moon with seeds of disillusion. The moon's light diminishes to a thin crescent facing to the right as it reaches the seed stage of its cycle. This is the phase in which you have to face the fact that an emotional situation is coming to an end. Although this is a time of disillusionment, eventually something good will come from this experience. Powerful feelings are internalized in a situation that is escaping out of your control. The natural desire is to wreak revenge, but you may be able to redirect this feeling in some form of positive, creative expression. So the underlying energy, we do have the goddess Hecate, with Capricorn's energy represented by the black moon. So this could be the death of something. But Hecate comes when there's like a fork in the road, a cause to go perhaps in a new direction in some area of your life. Next, we have the sleeper. So this could be, you could be receiving some sort of premonitions or guidance through your dream states of what to let go of, what needs to change and shift, the new direction you have to take. From the astrology deck, the astrological influences affecting you at this time, we have Uranus. Uranus, sometimes called the Great Awakener, brings the drama. It is associated with unexpected change, innovation, discovery, liberation, and structural transformation, and can cause a lot of upheaval, personally, politically, systematically, and generationally. Uranus likes to stir the pot, so expect the unexpected with this planet. Uranus can also add a quirky, trailblazing, freedom-loving vibe to our charts. Uranus changes zodiac signs approximately every 7 years. So Uranus is connected to Aquarius's energy, which would be house number 11, which is all about friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. Aquarius is the energy of radical change, free thinking, opening minds to new possibilities, right? You may be, it's almost like with this card of disillusion, you may be seeing something only as you want to see it, and it may not be the best course for you. So it's a need to shift the perspective and believe in the possible outcomes should we let go of something. Now the next card we have, Hygeia, named for the Greek goddess of health. This asteroid is associated with mental and physical health. So this could be what needs to be shifted and changed. This is almost where I would see the work needs to be put in, something to do with perhaps mental and physical health. Our mental health generally dictates what our physical health is. So taking time to work with your mental health. Journaling can be a good way of doing that. Meditating, a little soul searching, digging deeper into yourself. Again, with that energy of Hecate. Hecate is the goddess with the three faces. She faces the past, the present, and the future. So seeing in all directions kind of at once. With the sleeper card, there may be a lot of things coming through your subconscious energy at this time that are kind of showing you your fears, your insecurities, perhaps even past pains and traumas that may be affecting your health that we need to find some resolution with to move forward. So Hygeia can indicate our relationship to sleep, hygiene, nutrition, exercise, and holistic wellness practices. Difficult aspects and transits. I'm getting the mental image of your root chakra, so you may want to work with your root chakra frequencies, doing meditations. There are plenty of meditations on YouTube for chakra work. Difficult aspects and transits featuring this asteroid can indicate sudden changes in your body or sudden onset of illness. If there is a sudden onset of illness, this could be like if you work yourself too hard or stress too much about certain things, a lot of worry, you can cause yourself illness. And if this comes on, it's like the divine's way of forcing you to take the time to do some recovery type of work. This asteroid has a powerful influence on those who work in the wellness industry and may be a prominent player in the charts of doctors, healers, and other medical professionals. So I do feel kind of guided to clarify this energy a bit with the Shadowscapes Companion Tarot. So where is the area of health that Virgo needs to focus on at this time? The area of health. So we have the King of Cups coming out reversed. Right? So the King of Cups definitely connected to one's emotions. So your emotions definitely are of importance at this time. We have the turtles, and I do see turtles kind of connected to home. So there may be some hard emotions or traumas lingering connected to your home or your upbringing that you need to work through at this time. So the best advice I can give with this is to acknowledge things as they come up, try to understand why it's being shown to you, because the sooner you can see it, the sooner you can kind of learn to accept it and move through that energy, right? That is your shadow work. So what you do have control over at this time from the Millennium Thoth Tarot, we have the Aeon, which is the card of judgment, essentially. You can see the phoenix kind of rising here. Welcome to the next spiritual evolution of humanity. Rise up and heed the call and release your burdens. Then we have the Prince of Swords. Rushing into the thick of things, having a dominating presence. Fight for what you believe in. Now we have the Eight of Pentacles, represented by the sun sign of Virgo. Understand the right chemistry to make a project successful. Understand the disciplines needed to birth your will. It takes responsibility to grow the fruits to sustain you. So the Eight of Pentacles can be about your hard work and dedication, perhaps in your career or in your soul journey itself. The Ace of Wands. We have a flash of inspiration. A quick burst of energy comes your way, the start of a new creative project. So this is what you have control over, right? The Judgment card symbolizes your rebirth, your awakening, or evolution. The Prince of Swords would be technically the Knight of Swords, which could be a call to dive in, to trust yourself, to trust the process, to trust the journey. The Eight of Pentacles is all about your hard work and devotion to your own path, which then is, there's this spark or this intense energy that comes in that might actually give you insight into a new idea, a new creation, a new belief, whatever this is for you. So this is what you do have control over at this time. So what you have yet to acknowledge from the Mystical Shaman Oracle, we have the energy of the sun, number 53. Now, the interesting with this card is this message was having a hard time coming out for you, but this card did want to come out twice. So there is some sort of light, some sort of abundance here, right? The sun gives life to everything. The sun is acknowledged by many cultures as the foremost masculine force. In other traditions, it is seen as the feminine in her full power. Either way, it is the most brilliant light for all beings and allows life to sprout from the dark, feminine earth. It can be gentle and warming close to sunrise or sunset, fall or winter, or it can be destructive as in its zenith during a scorching summer. So I've always kind of seen the sun as more like of a masculine energy. However, I believe it's actually my own I believe Celtic and Viking are on the same similar vibrations. I believe is it Sawilo, which is the sun, which is represented more by the feminine force. I find myself more connected, honestly, to Greek mythology. I've just been considering Greek mythology. Well, I've always been interested in Greek mythology, but over the last couple weeks, I've noticed within Greek mythology, like a lot of the gods are actually lessons or different aspects of life, right? Like, for example, narcissist comes up a lot in this type of work, in this field in general, right? They kind of say when it comes to relationships, a lot of empaths end up with the narcissist, kind of the opposite energies. And then I was trying to explain what I thought a narcissist truly was, because a lot of us I think we tend to jump on the narcissist bandwagon a little too easy, especially when we're hurt by other people, calling them a narcissist. So I was trying to explain it to somebody the other day, and the best way I could think of was is it Narcissus, which is a Greek god, right? Which is where the word kind of stems from. And he basically picks up a mirror and falls in love with his reflection to the point that he feels nobody else could ever match his own beauty. That's a narcissist, right? So with this energy, the sun, although it is depicted by a woman here, that is how the birth of creation actually starts, is with the sun, right? In our solar system. In Greek mythology, the sun I would see as chaos, and how am I trying to say this? Chaos and Nyx are the original parents, right? They're the original two sides of creation. So chaos, I would see more as the masculine. Goddess Nyx, which is goddess night, is just the universe itself. So then chaos comes in, creating and birthing a star, which actually is the sun, which then, therefore, technically in Greek mythology, the sun would be neither masculine nor feminine. But either way, what you have not acknowledged is the sun. So there's many things to be grateful for. There's blessings, there's abundance, there's growth, there's healing. There's a lot of things being illuminated for you on your path. This is the essence at play for you at this time. Now, Spirit's invitation. We have the energy of water. Pardon me. When water arrives, you're invited to watch your emotions. That's no surprise, right? You did have the King of Cups coming up as your area of focus for your health at this time. Know they are going to be changeable, and do not settle on a conclusion at this time. If you feel joy, feel that fully. If you feel sad, allow sadness to move through you. Water invites you to see the ebb and flow of events, and trust you can ride the wave of opportunity when it arises. Natural flow is here. Go with it. Now we have the energy of the seer. So the seer, with this, you may actually be the type of person that can water scry. So you can look into a body or reflection of water and actually see images. The seer has prophetic visionary capabilities. The medicine of the seer has arrived now to challenge you to get out of denial and begin telling yourself the truth about your situation. Going back to that whole disillusion, right? Wishful thinking will not make what you desire happen when you're refusing to see things as they are. The truth may hurt, but it will set you free to claim the bounty that is waiting for you to notice it. This is a moment of true power. The seer offers you his medicine. When you are ready, surrender your vision to Spirit and ask to be shown the truth no matter the price. Once you do, your eyes will open and you will receive a powerful gift. So I want to pull some cards here. Where did they go? Oh. There's the energy of the Seven of Swords here, which could be connected to some sort of lies and deception. It could be somebody lying to you, and you may be like turning a blind eye and just not wanting to see it. You could be lying to yourself about a situation. But what is the gift of the seer? Clarify the energy of the seer, please. So we have the Prince of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. So this is quite interesting because the Prince of Cups in this deck is actually technically the King of Cups, but it's coming out upright. The Emperor is the divine masculine. Stability, our physical foundation. So I'm kind of seeing within this, your emotions definitely are what is going to create a stronger foundation. So again, you're being called to follow and stick with these emotions. The underlying energy, we do have the Five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles can sometimes be like an outcast energy. So there may even be, for some of you, this could be a situation of like trying to fit into like a group or something and not actually being accepted, but you're still trying to be with like the in crowd kind of example. Or this could be perhaps you may even have iced two people out that really do want the best for you on your path, or maybe like have better options or advice for you, but you're not like wanting to listen to it. So take that as you will. I do want to pull you an oracle card from my Raven's Song Oracle. Look at that. You have the Sun again with Leo's energy, the divine masculine. What is the guidance of the seer? The medicine of the seer, or the area of focus for this energy for Virgo, please. If you wish to purchase this deck, I will have the link in the description box. I'm not sure if I said that or not. We have the energy of growth and intent with soul healing. The seeds begin to sprout as your manifestation takes place. Feed it light, nourishment, and heavenly grace. As the light begins to grow, so do your dreams. Patience is needed. Yes, that is the key. The waxing moon is when the light grows towards the full moon. This is a time for nurturing projects, ventures, and dreams, so that when the time is right, they will be ripe for the picking. And it's interesting because we go from waning to waxing, right? So waning is losing the light to the new moon, which is a time of planting seeds, new seeds of intent. And then the waxing moon is when the light starts to grow, or the moon starts to gain light, right? Growing to its fullest manifestation as long as you nourish it, giving it sun and water here. So with your rebirth from the Shaman Durek Alchemy Elementals, we have number 38 with Water, Waterfall, Sun. Definitely could be the releasing of emotions. The releasing of your emotions could actually nourish your path at this time. Most likely they will, because it's like a cleansing and purging, but it's also a chance to understand yourself on a deeper level. Our whole planet is organized by cycles. The phase of the moon affects the ocean's tides. The interplay of the Earth's movement around the sun affects the seasons and the weather. Women themselves are cyclical beings who bleed along with the moon phases. Human beings navigate cycles of expansion and contraction, growth and stagnation, and fortune and tragedy. No one is immune to life's up and downs. All we can do is ride the waves and trust the journey, while remembering that everything changes. You, my dear, are entering a cycle of greatness. The hardships and difficulties you have endured are behind you and have been replaced with the blessings of grace and the rewards of spirit. Your journey has been long and arduous, and your soul has been waiting for this turn of fortune. So bask in the magnificence coming your way. Allow yourself to feel all the joy and all the excitement that's pouring into you now. So when I was reading this, one thing I do want to say is that we're all cyclical beings, right? Like, yes, women go through their menstrual cycle, their moon cycle, but so do men. Men don't bleed like a woman does, but they do go through the cycles. They may go through the cycles slower, which lucky them, right? The only reason I say that is because I do view kind of myself personally, I view the sun more masculine energy, the moon more feminine energy. The sun moves through a zodiac sign every roughly 30 days, right? The moon moves through each zodiac sign every 2.5 days. So I definitely see the feminine kind of goes through a lot more energy quicker, right? So there's a lot to process and go through. You may be kind of riding the highs and lows, but this is a natural cycle of life. You're not crazy. You're not losing your mind to anything if you're going through this energy. And this could be hard for Virgos in general. Virgos are technically depicted as like the maidens or the virgin of the zodiac, and I'm going to assume most of you out there probably are not actual virgins. But the virgin has a hopeful, optimistic approach and look to life. Now, the downfall of Virgo can be perfectionism, needing everything to be specific and perfect. So there could be a call to learn to be like a little more adaptable, which did come out with Uranus's energy and Hygeia here, right? Being open to change, open, like perhaps releasing expectations, being a little more fluid, like the energy of water suggests, is going to be beneficial for your health. Now, I am a South Node Virgo. So they say the South Node is kind of like what you've already mastered or obtained. And I myself personally realized once I found out that Virgo was a bit of a perfectionist, they need things to be perfect. They don't like mistakes. It actually makes a whole lot of sense to my entire life, to be quite honest, of how I am. Where my North Node, so your North Node and South Node are opposite on the astrology wheel. My North Node is Pisces, which is dreams, fantasies, psychic vision, more fluid and adaptable, right? So Pisces, again, Virgo would be your opposite sign. So for me, the North Node is kind of like where we're striving to get to, something that we haven't quite fully mastered yet. Our South Node is supposed to be something that we have fully mastered. But the way I also look at it is your South Node, to me, your South Node is your foundation. Your South Node is what is beneath your feet, right? Your North Node is like what's above you, where you're heading. So you need that stable foundation to be able to even move towards your North Node, right? So the South Node is just as important as the North Node. So there's a couple things I want to go over here. There's just things coming to mind. I did forget to show you the underlying of your, what you have yet to acknowledge. The underlying energy, you have the energy of the coyote. So what this is actually bringing up for me, the coyote is known as the trickster. Coyotes technically are in the dog family, right? So they I don't know if, I mean, a coyote could be loyal. But it could all be in our perception of things too. Not everything has to be a trick. What this was actually reminding me of is, for those of you that used to follow my old channel, Raven Mystic Oracle, you already know the Raven spirit was my guide. I also ended up happening to live with a Raven zodiac in the native zodiac, right? So the Raven, I believe, is, I don't know if it's connected exactly to the Western zodiacs, but is Libra. Libra's all about the balance, the give and take, right? So my roommate just happens to be a Raven, which I found interesting. And there were many times that he would say things and I would just get so confused, or I would take it from the wrong perspective. The only way I can really describe it is that it was like we were on different channels. Like I was picking up his channel, I was picking up the underlying words of what he was saying, but I really wasn't understanding what the hell he was talking about. Like, so with that, I found the more I started to express my emotional truth, I'm a sun sign Cancer. So with Cancer's energy, they can be very emotionally smart creatures. However, they don't typically like to share those emotions. They like to hold them in. So the more I started to learn to express and be honest and even speak up with fears and things of that nature, things that were confusing me, the clearer the voice started to come in. The more I kind of understood, the more it's almost like our channels started to line up, and it was a more understood conversation instead of confusion and tricks. And the reason why I'm being brought to that is because the coyote is known as the trickster, so is the raven. Your animal spirit guide, you have the crow, which I do see. The crows and ravens are in the same family. I don't care what you say. To me, the raven is the elder of the crow. But you also have the crow coming out again in a different deck. So the crows can be connected to our truth, to the mysteries of life, to seeing beyond what is at face value. You have this energy of flow. So with the coyote and the energy of flow, there may be a trick of the mind going on at this time, especially if you're still kind of like in that perfectionism energy. The perfectionism energy, although it can be a beautiful thing, it can also be very limiting, right? If we're always trying to do things perfect, then we miss out on a lot of opportunities because we stress ourselves out trying to be perfect. So there's definitely going to be this balance in going with the flow of life, which is going to connect you to the heart of sky, your heart chakra. Then you have the crow, which is universal truths, laws, and justice. So being true to yourself, honoring your truth, and seeking your truth. This will bring some sort of completion to a cycle for you with the Ouroboros, which then leads to your ultimate abundance with the corn, which again, we have 5 crows here. So 5 crows could be connected to the energy of silver, and I do see silver again kind of going back to the moon, connecting to the divine feminine energy. So the feminine energy can be said to be your creative or emotional side, right? The cycles in which we go through. This could have something to do with a mother's energy as well. Then we have the energy of the drum. So doing like shamanic journeying, like shamanic drum journeying meditations on YouTube may actually help you understand something, may set you on a healing path. I did a shamanic journeying, and one of the things I did see was the raven. I go by the white raven. So in Celtic lore, the raven is actually the bird of healing. And over the past 6 years, ravens have been a very big part of my spiritual journey. It was almost like a projection of myself, an altercation of myself, if you will. But then as the pieces started to align, it all actually made sense. The bird was healing me, like my spirit was healing itself in essence. Which then, of course, will help you hit your target, and more paths will become available to you. Or maybe you already have many paths and options. There just may be a need for emotional honesty with yourself to be able to see them. With the King of Cups reversed, this could suggest that you have not yet mastered your emotions, which is fine. Most people haven't, to be quite honest. Mastering one's emotions is not always easy because your emotions come and go like the tides. They can't always be controlled, right? But there's something within your emotions that you're learning to understand about yourself. Now we have the land, animal, and sun, number 78. So this is very much chariot energy, which is Cancer in the tarot. We have the dark horse and the white horse, right? The shadow energy, the light energy, the spiritual energy, the physical energy. With this, sevens and eights to me typically month wise would represent Cancer and Leo's energy, which I do see as the moon and the sun, the masculine, the feminine, the mother father type of energy. In the astrological houses, house number 7 is connected to Libra's energy, so that balance, right? 8 is Scorpio's energy. Scorpio is life, death, and rebirth, transformation, and transition. So this could even be the shifting of how you view the masculine and feminine principles, or what it means to be a man or a woman, to help you move forward. We have a lot of sun energy here. We have sun. The underlying is also a sun card. Then you have the sun, right? So illumination. It's one thing to love animals and to scratch them behind their ears and tell a chihuahua in someone's purse that you like its sweater vest. It is quite another thing to truly commune with animals. I actually communed with coyotes here in Alberta, Canada. And I believe coyotes would be similar to coyotes. I believe they're a smaller version of coyotes. Still a dog. There was one morning in a misty fog at the river bottom. I was walking my chihuahua. It's funny that it says that. And we went to go down this one trail, and there's just long grass, right? And just as we went through, I saw 20 backs of dogs, coyotes running through the grass away from us. So I went on an exploration to find them, and eventually I did put my dog in the car while I went on a search for these, because the coyotes around here, there's lots of stories of people talking about how they make the sound of a crying children to lure dogs in to capture them as prey. But these dogs were they were timid of me, even though there was 20 of them. But they did kind of show up, and it was kind of the coolest thing ever. So it's respecting animals, they will respect you back. When was the last time you ran alongside a horse, feeling the joy and freedom it feels sprinting across the land? Horses are also connected to Cancer's energy, I believe, in the Celtic zodiacs. So what I mean, for those of you that don't know, there's Celtic, Egyptian, Native. Those are the other ones coming up at the top of my head, just like the Western zodiac, right? Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. So in the Celtic zodiac, the horse represents Cancerian energy. Kind of getting this Queen of Cups vibes, right? I kind of connect Cancer's energy to the Queen of Cups in tarot. It can also be connected to the High Priestess energy in tarot, but this is the light and shadow bodies. Perhaps the lighter forces and more negative forces, the positives and negatives of each aspect. Where if you think of the Queen of Cups, traditionally in tarot, when we think of the Queen of Cups, it can be a very loving, nurturing type of mother. But then if you also think of the Queen of Cups, she can be ruthless. She can be quite mean, actually. It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, the Queen of Hearts. Hearts is cups, right? And she basically off with her head, right? She'll steal anyone's heart and break it. So there could be this balance between your light and shadow and where this energy is coming from. Usually there's old scenarios or experiences connected to it. So finding that vibration and healing the shadow within. When was the last time you sang along with the birds and harmonized with their melodies? The wisdom of the animals are profound and their messages run deep. Avail yourself to the medicine they carry through communion. Allow the animals to teach you through their ways and through their language. They are guides here. Walk well with them. So the interesting with horses is, some of you may know, for those of you who've been around horses or who have horses, you already know what they're like. For me, I was always drawn to horses. I've always loved horses. But I've never really been around them that much to know their personalities. I've heard stories. So one day I was out for a drive and I noticed this ranch had a bunch of horses. There were like at least 20 horses, and the gate was like left open on the back road. So I pulled over to close the gate only to find that the gate didn't actually line up to close. And obviously I wanted to close the gate so the horses didn't get out and, wander down the highway on whoever owned them. And I walked in and these horses just all looked at me. And I was kind of like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. But I was nervous too, right? Like they're big animals. So I explained this to the horse that I've always thought they were magnificent creatures, but I am a little intimidated. And after I admitted that truth, much like going back to that whole energy of the channel or vibration of the raven, the horse, as soon as I admitted that truth, came up to me and let me pet it. The next thing I know, they were sending me on this whole spiritual journey, and it was like one of the most magical days of my life. Once I communicated with it, they started communicating with me in it was a weird way. I was actually having problems with my feet. My feet were really bothering me for days. They just were aching so bad. And just as I was about to leave, this horse came up to me and he started poking me in the chest with his snout, with his nose. And I didn't understand. He would poke me in the chest and then start trying to like scratch his leg. And at first I was like, do you need help scratching your leg? Because it was almost like he couldn't reach it. So I tried to scratch it and he backed away. And then once I backed away, he came back to me, poked me in the chest, and then started pointing towards his foot. And then I was like, are you talking about my foot? And he like nodded yes. And then he started pointing his face across the acreage, telling me basically to walk it off. And then when I did walk it off, there was a whole bunch of spiritual stuff that came through. The energy was crazy. There was hawks and gophers, and they were all speaking to me, and it was the most profound communication I have ever had with animals. So there's a need for an open dialect here. Whether that is with animals, whether it's like in a personal relationship, friends, family, community, whatever it is, it's almost like there's a call to open the dialect from a truthful place so that you can start to balance the emotions within. Especially if you're feeling like a lot of fear and insecurities, there definitely may be this call to start speaking those fears because it'll actually bring some clarity to you. Now we have the water river of earth. So there's kind of this grounding energy. Definitely kind of going back to, I'm getting the root chakra. Obviously the trees have roots, right? But the blue is usually connected to our throat chakra, speaking the truth. I'm getting the energy of fulfillment here through your rebirth, but this could also be the rebalancing and healing of your own DNA strands. Shamans are trained to see beyond the third dimensional constructs and constraints so that they can perceive what is happening beyond the veil multidimensionally. Dear human, if you could see all the resources, gifts, and potential that your vessel holds, yes, yours, you would literally bow before yourself in awe and wonder. You carry within you an overwhelming spring of mental, emotional, and spiritual technology that you have inherited from your ancestors and accumulated through your own experience. There is no need to seek outside help for answers or knowledge. You have everything you could possibly need inside of you. Tap into what you already know and what you already hold in your heart and spirit. Share and expand your inner resources so as to allow them to grow. The more you consult with yourself instead of seeking external support, the more your inner knowingness expands. So this is going back to that seer energy, right? So when you have the time to be alone in stillness, without distractions, without social media, TV, you have the opportunity to kind of organize your thoughts and go through what is coming. You'll start to understand things from new levels, right? Like peeling those layers back of yourself and understanding the root of who you are. You're kind of like this diamond in the rough energy. I'm just noticing there's kind of like this diamond here in the Prince of Swords. So definitely could be definitely messages coming through your third eye. As your underlying energy to your rebirth, we do have the water spring of sun. And again, you have this diamond. And I kind of see this as bringing your fire, your passion, your creativity with your water, your emotions, right? Balancing your fire and water. It's almost like the card of temperance. Bringing your gift into sight. We do have the Two of Pentacles here. There's a balancing taking place, perhaps with a lovers, that could ultimately lead to your inner and self-contentment. To thine own heart be true is the phrase that Spirit is giving me with this sky storm star. You can see this body, this light body, being reflected into the mirror. So honoring and accepting all of who you're. Oh, I didn't even know this before that. The person in the mirror almost like is opening their arms to welcome this person. This person may be unsure. So this could almost be the energy of learning to love and honor the aspects of yourself that maybe you hide. 55 can represent changes, seeing from new perspectives, perhaps even a change in location I'm getting for some of you. Whenever you choose to direct your attention to something, you are casting your vote for more of that thing to exist in your world. If you are focusing on chaos, on suffering, on pollution, and zombie apocalypse movies, then by the very act of directing your consciousness to those things, you are creating more of them in your world. Not only that, but when you are distracted with chaos, suffering, pollution, and apocalypse scenarios, you cannot focus on what is in front of you. Yes, you truly desire and seek to manifest for yourself. You cannot focus on what it is that you truly desire and seek to manifest for yourself. Safeguard your attention, my love. Seek beyond the manipulations of the matrix and rest in the threshold of possibility that lies in the unseen. In doing so, you will discover a new vision that will lead you to a fresh pathway. That's interesting. Where did you go? You were right there. A fresh pathway. New vision, right? One that takes you to your dreams and your aspirations, where all of your desires will be met. So it's almost suggesting that it's almost like you have control over your destiny, your dreams and desires. But to get there, there's a call to be careful of what you ingest. So if you're watching a lot of like negative TV or social media posts, this can subconsciously affect us, right? Going back to this Cancerian or moon energy that I get from these black and white horses. It's almost like, I don't know if I should say this or not. There's over the last few years, I've removed so many friends from Facebook just because they're constantly posting negative crap. And it's like, I get it. We all have our perceptions, our opinions on things. But when it's constantly negative, I mean, that's got to be a miserable life to sit there and constantly just bitch and bicker about everything. And the more you do that, the more miserable you become, right? So it's a need to shift what you're taking in, what you're putting out, right? So even if you are a person, going back to this 38, which represents an 11, right? 3 plus 8 is 11. 11s are a karmic portal. So what you put in, you will get back. And this can just be mental. Our thoughts, right? If we're constantly thinking only negative thoughts, we're feeding that like negative beast within ourselves. And then that's all we start to notice in the world is negative, 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 which can be very damaging and not a lot of fun to live in. So if you can start to try to look for the positives in life, you will start to see more positives and more things will come to light, right? And you definitely have the potential to do this with all this sun energy. There's a lot of light and things to be grateful for around you. You have the power to embrace your rebirth here, to rebirth yourself. Now, with the energy coming in for the future with you, we have the Ten of Swords. So this is almost the energy of something coming to an end, whether you like it or not. The beautiful thing about this card, though, as off-putting as it can look in the tarot, the Ten of Swords, that the spirit energy never dies. It transitions, it evolves. So the old must fall away so that the new can be rebirthed, or the truer energy can be rebirthed. So this could almost be the energy if we're holding on to past situations, if we're holding on to grudges, although we can't always just let go of grudges because we decide to. But if we can try to find forgiveness in our own journey for the grudges that we hold, we release the weight, right? If other people have done bad things to you, if you can forgive it, then you're only setting yourself free. It doesn't matter whether the person's actions were justified or not. What matters is that you're not willing to be dragged down by somebody else's bad actions, right? You're not holding on to them. But the Ten of Swords definitely suggests that there is an ending coming in your future. Now we have the High Priestess's energy. So the High Priestess is connected to Cancer, the moon. It is connected to our intuition. It is where the High Priestess sits between the pillars of strength and stability. So again, we're going back to that. Your strength is actually in your emotions here with the King of Cups reversed. But the High Priestess is a call to meditate, to connect to your subconscious type of energy. There may be a call to observe information coming in for you through dreams or visions in meditation, but not to hold on to anything too tightly. It is said that there are multiple realities, multiple worlds. So certain things that come in, they may be acceptable in one reality, right? So if it's something negative, it usually has some sort of seed, right? And you did have multiple cards speaking of seeds that were planted. So a seed that could have been planted, say a negative seed, somebody could have told you in the past that you were ugly or unworthy or something like that. And it's kind of like germinated and taken root inside of you. But most likely if somebody has said that to you, that is their own perception of their self, or maybe they're like jealous or envious of something of you and wanted to purposely tear you down. The Ten of Swords can represent betrayal, deception. So it's a need to uproot that seed of belief because it's not true. You don't need to hold that in again as your poison, right? But the High Priestess is following your intuition, working with things as they come up. So in the future, it's almost like you may be actually more connected to your intuition through the healing of your emotions, which definitely is going to happen if you start working with and honoring your emotions, because the High Priestess, again, connected to Cancer, which is connected to the moon, which is a magnet to the oceans, to the waters, to the tides, to the incoming and outgoing of emotions, right? So your emotions play an important role in your intuition, and you did have that energy of water, right? You may actually see images in water itself. And water kind of goes everywhere. It has no form. So if you spill water on a table, right, it's going to go wherever gravity pulls it, right, the level. So kind of following these emotions and seeing where they lead you. This may be even like, I'm almost getting this image, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're holding back things and trying to make it work, and perhaps you're not sure if it's meant to be or not, there may be a call to meditate on it, to follow your emotions and see where they lead. Are they like uplifting emotions, or are they drowning emotions? You may even, for some of you, may actually, and it doesn't just have to relate to relationships, but I'm actually just getting this image of floating in water. If you think of a situation or a person, or even a place, perhaps, ask the question about the person and then take a few deep breaths, close your eyes, and see if you sink or float. I'm getting the image like if you sink, it's almost like it's drowning you, it's pulling you down. But if it eventually makes you float, then it's the right path for you. Because a lot of, like, especially with relationships, there's a lot of energies that go into relationships, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? Just because bad things happen between you and another person doesn't mean they're a bad person. It could just be irritants. It's very hard to accept people fully, especially ourselves, right? So if somebody does something bad to you, it doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. It just could be a bad situation, or somebody could have been triggered. So there may be a call to meditate with your intuition to see whether this, like, is truly a toxic person or they are just working through their journey, right? So in the future, it's almost like you're becoming more skilled at working with your own intuition. Then we have the Page of Swords. Pages typically represent messengers. So there could be a message that comes through your intuition, a moment of clarity, of insight. It could also come from another person. The suit of swords are associated with power and conflict, but be keen to remember that swords have a double edge. They are reminders that there's a fine line between good and evil, so be mindful of your thoughts and ambitions. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, direction of the north, and the element of air. So I was kind of getting this kind of like catch-22, right? The sword is double-edged. So, I mean, this could mean a lot of things. This could be if somebody does something negative to you, it may be actually karma coming back because you may have done something negative to them or somebody else. It doesn't have to be the same person. The Page of Swords represents thoughtfulness, clarity, curious, and restless. So in the future, you may become even bored of a situation, restless, seeking something. But there may be a call to go back to this balance, especially when it comes perhaps even to relationships here. Because a lot of us have strived off of stress, right? We're so used to chaos that actually has fed us for a long time, that when we have nothing to do and actually have the time to relax, sometimes it can become very boring and confusing, and you may actually want to stir up drama just to have something to do. So there is a caution to be careful of that, because you did have the energy of seeing, I can't remember what card it was, seeing through chaos, right? Like if you continue to see through chaos, you're going to get more chaos, right? It's just going to end up being a shit show, more drama, right? So there is this kind of energy in the future coming through of thoughtfulness, clarity, understanding. It's like setting the intention of what you put out. So if you happen to pick up on people's flaws a lot, or even your own flaws, and have a lot of negative talk, whether for self or others, it's going to kind of, it's going to, I want to say snowpile, but that's not the right word. It's going to snowball. It's going to gather momentum, right? So if you want more positive in your life, try to speak more positive, especially with yourself, right? Which then leads you into the Nine of Cups, which is quite beautiful, because the Nine of Cups is all about our emotional contentment. Feeling satisfied, emotionally grateful for what we have in our own energy. It's almost like this energy of feeling emotionally stable, balanced, not needing somebody else to complete us. We are happy and content within ourselves, which is where your health resides. So taking care of your mental and emotional health is very important for you at this time. The Nine of Cups. So, Cups delves into your emotional state and relationships. The suit appears when you need to pay attention to your own intuition when making decisions. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, the direction of west and the element of water. What am I looking for? The Nine of Cups. Happiness, satisfaction, harmony, and accomplishment. Ooh la la. So that's beautiful coming in for you in the future. So you definitely have some beautiful energy coming in for you. It may start off a little rocky with the Ten of Swords, but it's going to lead to this beautiful fulfillment here. This could almost, for some of you, I'm sorry to say, this could almost be somebody that like actually feels like they break your heart, and then it leads to actually you coming out, rising on top for the better, right? This phoenix rising type of energy. So kudos to you. Let karma take care of the dickweeds. So your animal spirit guide, the crow. So I kind of put the high priestess up here because the crow is connected to mysticism, seeing through, like piercing through the veil, seeing through the unknown, which is very much the high priestess energy. I'm almost kind of seeing this as like her pet, right? Just because the crow is like, could even be feeding her information. The ravens do this in Norse mythology with Odin, right? The Hugin and Munin, which are the ravens of thought and memory that are said to go out every day and prevail the lands and bring information back to Odin. But the birds representing thought and memory, there's a lot of information in our thoughts and memories that come through our subconscious energy. So the crow, spiritually strong, creative, and watchful. The crow has long been a symbol of magic. A crow personality is drawn to the supernatural and has a gift for seeing the unseen and knowing the unknown. It is said that the crow holds within its mind's eye the three realities: past, present, and future. Crow energy is potent and should only be tapped into when the mind is clear. Those with crow tendencies must balance their lives with healthy diet, joyful friends, and regular self-study. It makes a lot of sense with the energy of water, right? Water is reflection, intuition, but then you also have this card with literally has a mirror with your reflection, right? Regular self-study, understanding yourself from a deeper level. When in balance, psychic, strong, and clear. When out of balance, ungrounded and hypersensitive. To bring into balance, daily meditation. So the High Priestess represents wisdom and enlightenment. She is in between two worlds and embodies the eternal feminine spirit. She is the guardian of the unconscious who guides us to look inward and listen to our own feelings and intuition. The subconscious, wisdom, anima, serenity, and mystery. Now the underlying energy of the crow. We have the gazelle. So gazelles are quite graceful. They're very alert, much like this crow is, kind of like watching, seeing, observing, understanding. Behind that, we have the energy of the turtle, which I love because the turtle already came up in this King of Cups, right? Multiple turtles here. The turtle to me always represents home is where the heart is. The home is in your chest. Your heart is in your chest. You are your home. Then you have the hawk, which is the all-seeing messenger of divinity. Messages coming through for you. With the sea serpent's energy. The sea serpent is connected to the sacral chakra, which is connected to the divine feminine, the womb energy. With the dolphin is connected to intuitive healing. And behind that, you have the oyster. So there's something, I'm getting the energy, there's very much something hidden within your sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra can also be your source of creativity. And the best way to access your sacral chakra is by connecting to your throat chakra, which is all about your truth and expression. So the gazelle. Gazelle. Heightened awareness, ability, and vulnerable. The gazelle represents supreme grace. With every move, this awe-inspiring beauty emits sophistication and elegance. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hyper-vigilant, and this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much effort cultivating. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. When in balance, graceful and perceptive, artistic. When out of balance, food allergies, insomnia, and racing mind. To bring into balance, yin yoga, which is the feminine, a cozy home, and good food. So there you have it. That could definitely be a call to surround, to be in an environment in your home that you find some sort of sanctuary to eat, perhaps some more food, maybe even consume a little bit more water. I should probably be taking that advice myself. Been drinking a lot of coffee lately. Because your health really is a priority, right? Your mental and physical health. A lot of your physical health, they go hand in hand. I'm just noticing this. Oh, look at that. They're right there, too. Mental and physical will bring about a new spark of creation for you. This will help you. So working with your mental health, understanding it, the Chariot's energy, the High Priestess energy here. Where do those two horses go? This can almost feel like a very bipolar energy, to be quite honest. But there's a way to break through this energy by working with the emotions as they come up and understanding yourself on a deeper level. This could help you evolve your DNA strands. It doesn't have to end. Because from what I understand, bipolar would be basically of two minds. But there's a way to bring those minds into balance. Grounding. So I did see the lower chakras, working with your root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra. If you don't know much about the chakras, I would work more with the colors. And if you see at any particular time a color a lot, like if you're seeing a lot of blues, that could be connected to your throat chakra. Dark blues, like navy or indigo, can be connected to your third eye. Red is said to be your root. Orange, your sacral. Your solar plexus is yellow. We did have a lot of sun energy. So I would almost say working with your foundational chakras at this time is going to be the most important. Your root, sacral, and solar plexus, which are located below the heart space, all like from the genitals all the way up to the mid chest, kind of your abdomen. So I will leave that there. I hope this reading resonates. If it does, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Many blessings. Live, love, and light. Take care.